but the view is not as neatly and conveniently organized. I mean, it is not so well organized as in XML Writer and in Microsoft front page. Also, the different parts of the XML data structures are not colorized. Similarly, with WordPad, the view is a little bit better, but it does not colorize too. However, for the tutorial, in all of the 4 parts of Toefl, EDToefl IBT, I'm going to use WordPad, because WordPad is enough for editing the text, and also WordPad, as I have already shown you, is certainly available in your computer. You don't need to install any other application. So if you don't want to use Microsoft front page, or you don't want to use XML Writer, then you can use WordPad. And personally, I think WordPad is quite enough to edit these data files. Now, if you are more comfortable with WinWord, you can use WinWord too, but it will be a little bit different. From WinWord 2003, WinWord can read XML data file in the XML format like this. So you don't see the XML tag in the way you see it in other text editing programs. And what I don't like about using WinWord is that it does not allow you to view the attributes of the XML node easily. So if I want to see the attribute of this XML node, I need to right click and then click on attributes. If I don't see it, I need to try it again. For example, on this node, I right click and click on attributes, and I see one attribute here is the time, and when I want to change the time, I need to double click and modify it here. So it's not quite convenient to use WinWord, but if you like, you can use it. And I also recommend it for experienced user, because with WinWord 2003 and 2007, in this view of XML, you can edit an XML tag very easily by clicking on the tag. The whole data within the tag is selected like this. I just need to click on question tag, and the whole data part is selected. Similarly for the other part, and it may help you a lot in editing the XML file. Right? So to make it easy for inexperienced user, and also to be consistent for all the 4 tutorials on writing, speaking, listening and reading, I'm going to use Notepad. Just before we start, these are some of the basic things I need to tell you about XML data file, because these are some of the words I'm going to use throughout the tutorial. Now, we need to know about XML nodes first. An XML node is a level of the data structure. Now, let me show you with XML editor so that you can see it more easily. Now, I'm using Internet Explorer to view the reading data XML file. So the test time here is called the root node, because when I click here, everything collapses. Within this root node, there are many other levels, and the prompt node, which is right after the root node, is called the parent node. So under the test node, there are two nodes, and this test node can also be called the parent node, and the prompt node is the child node of the test node. Similarly, this passive node is the child node of the prompt node, and within the prompt node we see other nodes here: the glossary node, the questions node. So the questions node is the child node of prompt, and within question nodes we have other children: question number 1, question number 2, question number 3, question number 4, question number 5. Now these are the children node of the question node. Now an XML attribute is the part that is separated from the name of the node, and it is usually come with this sign, an equal sign, and the value of the attribute is usually put between quotation mark. So I say the time attribute of test node is 40 colon double colon 00, and here I say the number attribute of the question node is 1, and the number attribute of this question node is 2. The number attribute of this question node is 3. Here, slopes is also an attribute of an heading node, and I say this attribute, the slot attribute of this heading node is 2. Right. So this is called the attribute of the XML node. Now another term that sometimes you may see me use in the tutorial is the XML tags. Now XML tags are basically thing that you see in the pointed brackets like this. Is always start with a double pointed bracket and ends like this. So I call this the heading tag, and inside this heading tag there are 3 more tags. This is also a heading tag. This is another heading tag, and we can also call this a heading a tag. This whole part is also an XML tag. Now the rule is that an XML tag always start with a double pointed bracket, and it always ends or close with a forward slash. Now if you don't include a forward slash, the program will understand that this node is not ended here. So during the editing process, you need to pay attention if something go wrong with the XML data file, you may need to check if you have already closed the XML tag like this. Right, so those are some of the basic things I want you to be familiar with before start working on the Toefl IBT application. Now we can start with the first tutorial using EDToeflWorkingWithXML2 writing.